30 minutes of friends talk about everything that matters to women.
Especially in our
Welcome to the
society, having
lounge.
very social gatherings, events, a lot of things. It's very difficult to manage time and to, try to always be there. Like, how do you actually, let's say, feel about that?
Managing time for me is really tough, especially that I don't have a routine set. I think as human beings, as much as we like to be great and like our schedule's all over the place and it's cool to be spontaneous every day, it's not manageable. So for me, it's setting a routine that I can work with. It would make things way less hectic. But learning how to set one in the first place that is sustainable is really tough for me. So,
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, when you mentioned routine, so I think this is the secret word for actually, managing your time or having like a healthy schedule, because you just stick to a routine, even though this routine is, repeated every day for a whole year. But it might be very hard to adjust to a routine. Sometimes you feel you want to go back to just living spontaneously or just doing whatever comes off your mind. But believe me, having a routine will really help, especially as we mentioned earlier, because life now is very fast and you can barely catch up with life's needs. So just sticking to a routine, sometimes, especially in the beginning, it can be boring. But when you get the hang of it and then continue,
It's great and even healthier, it's very healthy to have that. Sometimes we do feel like we don't want to stick to a routine, but once we stop doing the things that we're used to do, the normal things, we immediately feel that we're not in, let's say, in the right place or right time or right position. We always feel that there's something missing, something wrong. So having a routine is very healthy, yet it has to be flexible, not the one that get really strict, that if you miss something, then that's it. Everything, let's say, depends on the second step rather than, let's say, skipping a step in between.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I actually have a question. So if you look at today's society, of course, us women, we kind of upgrade our roles. We're not just mothers, we're not just sisters, but we're also like entrepreneurs. We're also businesswomen. We're also like doing all kind of stuff, all kind of jobs. And in reality of things, you can be also a mama. You can be whatever you want to be. The world is open for you. But how do you jiggle that? How do you manage like your life and also managing your family also? And we tend to not question the men, of course, but we need to ask us as human beings, how do we do that? How can you jiggle all of that?
Like, to be honest, the thing that keeps in my mind is that if you love something, that you have to really not sacrifice, but find the balance, I would say, especially for us as being mothers, because we do have lots of things in our mind, thinking about lots of let's say, chores that we actually have to do. Okay, we do have helpers with us at home. We have our mothers, we have the helpers themselves, we have sisters maybe sometimes. But yet again, the most important thing is to always find the time to squeeze it all in, like together, like having time for your family, having time for your, especially kids.
Definitely.
To keep them within the schedule, spending time with them. The most important thing for me as a mother, speaking about their child, is when they wake up, they will see you, and then in the middle of the day you have to be there, and then the end of the day, because most of the time that they're going to spend in the morning is, let's say, going to school, and if they're very young, staying at home. But when you come back from work, this is a very important time to spend it with them. They're gonna have their naps, they're gonna wanna, let's say, go around and play around, and then this is where you actually could lean out and go do your, or let's say, normal things, and then come back at night before bedtime, so they could see you and feel safe, and then you spend quality time with them.
What about you?
Definitely, this is correct. Hiba, mentioning having helpers at home is one of the big things that, for me, I'm grateful for. Just to, let us moms to manage your life or have a balance for your life. I can never thank them enough, because they're here to give a helping hand where it is very important, like Hiba said, to be here at important and specific timings of the day, especially when, let's say, being a mom and picking up your kids from school, they always have something to say. They always have something to tell you, a story that happened at school. So in my opinion, I would believe it's very nice to be there for them by this time. And that, you know, whenever it's in the afternoon, or you can just have some time for yourself or any errands that you have to do. But being there is something very important, and I believe us as women, we have managed a long time ago to have this balance. Ever since, you know, you become a mom, you will sacrifice some stuff, and some things you will just have a good balance, you know, just to have a good, let's say, provide a good life for your kids and your work and family and friends. So I mean, balance is everything.
Yeah, as a single person, I don't have that struggle, but I look up to you guys because you guys are doing a phenomenal job beyond that, to be fair, that I can't even acknowledge. But for me, the most important thing that I need a support system. I can't do things on my own, but I've also learned that for me to manage my life, I need to choose my things properly. Not everything is needed to be done in one place or like at the same time.
Right.
Some things I'm willing to compromise on for now, so I can at least, you know, guide and take the boat and row it for like my own good. But later on, I'm like, I can add something or I can remove something just for the sake of keeping a good balance. But also I have a family to catch up with. So I try to, I balance work as much as I can. Whatever I can compromise, I'll do that. I also have self-care and I also have days for my family. So off days for me, I need to breathe. I don't want nobody talking to me. Again, I like my privacy. I like my alone time. But other than that, sometimes I do compromise regarding work just for me.
Yeah, and it's very important to always have that, you know. Sometimes we really do get very, very busy in life, and especially when it comes into work, and we always forget ourselves in a way. Like when it was the last time, let's say, you pampered yourself, or let's say you just spent the time with yourself. If you come to think of it, you'll immediately understand and know that, right, I really did forget myself in a way that I didn't notice. Like it just slipped away and through it as well. So it's very important to have that and to remind yourself always when it comes into that matter, because you do matter. And in order for you to manage all of that, you do have to have that kind of timing for yourself to enjoy reading a book, having your coffee. Even, for instance, like a lot of moms feel guilty once they leave their kids, even for an hour, going to the gym, coming back. But I mean, it's your time. I mean, you have to do that in order for you to be refreshed and come back again for them.
Definitely, that's correct. Actually, you know, having some space and time for yourself, this is where you recharge in order to go back for them and, you know, give or let's say have the energy to spend the time with them. So taking a breaks for yourself, whether you're getting pampered or going to the gym or just some alone time, is very important for both you know, like both ways. Like it's either important for your kids and for yourself. You know, you deserve this time, and your family also deserves your time while you're being in a good mood, not always, you know, grumpy or just angry about so many, you know,
things that could actually happen.
So this is very important to, you know, go ahead and take some space for yourself.
And for the mothers who are not working, you're still doing a great job.
Definitely.
100%. But also that, how can you manage that? You know what I mean? So even if you're not working, you're managing a whole life. You're managing you're managing your kids, or you're like, even if you don't have kids, you're managing your life. If you're married, you're managing, you know what I mean? You're still like, you have a partner to care for. So for me, I would just say that making sure that you have your individual self and whatever life that you have, like with a partner or like a family, try to have like yourself, like make sure you don't lose yourself as much as you can. The minute you lose yourself, you're gonna be in so much pressure and the exhaustion of you trying to get out of that. So a good balance of you being an individual, but also whatever you have with your family, your partner, it could be kids, it could be whoever, and even work. Or even if you're not working at home, that's still considered work. If you're cleaning and doing whatever, you're cooking, that's work. So you need to learn how to leave some part for yourself for you to actually breathe.
Definitely,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
correct.
I mean, like, have you ever been in a spot where you actually lose that kind of control? Like, you've been there managing your time and everything, and then we always have the sense is that I don't have time. Time is really flying fast. Like, as much as I'm trying to actually obtain it and reschedule everything, but suddenly a traffic comes in the way, and suddenly something that actually occurs in the way, and then there's where we, let's say, start to lose it. Like, have you ever been in that kind of spot?
Yes, Haba, I've actually been in the spot many times where I think I have like my day figured out, I have it all planned, and then it's always this one thing that comes up and I wouldn't say ruin, but just twist your plans. But it depends, actually, for me, it depends how do you react to this change. So as a person of, just sticking to a routine, sometimes changing the routine can be very, very, I would describe it as being, I don't know, but not, difficult for me, or some sort of not accepting it.
Yeah,
you know,
because when you get really used to it,
Yes.
you do it without knowing, and even when it comes into the time, you calculate it. But once you add something
Yes.
new, it's always that new
Difficult to
thing
adjust,
that
Haba.
So true.
Yes.
It's really
Yes,
tough.
yes,
But
yes.
girls, I'm loving the conversation. But how about we take a little break and we can continue later.
So it's very important to always set boundaries to many things, especially when it comes into, let's say, having that great balance between your life and work. How important do you feel that?
Having a good balance between both, or it's a very thin line where sometimes you can go overboard, where work sometimes needs, I would say, not the whole time of the year, but there would be phases where work needs more of your time. So you would recognize yourself, not giving or not being there for your family, or your other part. So when this happens, I tend to just be calm and tell myself that it is okay, it's a phase, and everything will be back to normal. But I tend to push myself through this phase because I know it's not going to be like this, like the whole.
It's just temporary.
It's just temporary, so it's not the whole time like this. But I would also see whatever motivates me, anything that I can do just to reward myself after. This is the technique I use for myself, and it works.
Interesting.
My biggest fear in life is to lose myself in something, like either work, either family, either whatever. And because I have that fear, you will see me having panic attacks a lot. Like regarding if I'm working way too much, I'm like, what's going on, who I am? And I always question, I go back to who I am as a person. And that's why I tend to kind of regulate myself. I always ask myself, do I need a time off? Or what do I need right now? Why am I going through it? There's a lot of pressure from work? Is it a lot of pressure from family? Is it a lot of pressure from myself? So based on that question, I would really schedule, or I would change my routine. So if I know I'm getting pressured a lot from work, then I need to drop something, or I need a vacation, or I can add an activity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I feel like, okay, I'm not doing anything, I'm just suffocating because I have like family, I have like work and everything, then I need like a little activity, something fun for me to like reconnect. So you will see me I took flute lessons last year. And it was hard, tough. I was ready to cry, but I had fun learning it. You know what I mean? And like there are times where I take language lessons. So something I always ask, what do I need? And then I would fix everything on that. So that's my way to do it.
Well, that's really quite interesting. I'm always a yes person. I can't say no. Even if it's, let's say, in a very busy schedule, I would immediately squeeze anything in, and this is a very big problem that I face. And I've faced so many kind of pressure, and let me tell you, it's not really nice, it's not beautiful, it's not fun. You have to always learn to know, okay, even if you know that you could reach to these limits and it's fine with you, yeah, it's like really easy, you can do it, but never ever ever keep yourself in a situation where you start having kind of problems. Like you're doing something that you're really passionate of, but don't let it reach to a point where everyone starts pointing many things at you. You're always late, you're not there for your family, and things like from here and there. Because we're not only talking about your kids. I mean, you're there for your kids, but even your husband is part of your family.
Definitely.
So when it comes into having different kind of, let's say, work schedule between both of you, and let's say what I had in my situation is that we both work in the morning, the same timing. But when we come back at home, it's like I just sit 1 hour. He takes a nap. I go out to come for the shooting. So he wakes up. He goes to his other work, and when we come back, both of us are exhausted. I would immediately sleep. He is watching a football match. So this is where you start to have this conflict, because you have to have that balance. And yet again, you're not only having one part of the family, which is your kids, but also your husband is a very big role of the part of the family. So I mean, it's very devastating. And as you just said, we do have this kind of, let's say, timing where it's Ramadan and you want to shoot for the whole month before the month starts. And you start to have these timing where you come back home late, you're doing 5 episodes with 5 different guests, and you reach at home exhausted. Even when it comes into your kids, it's like, I don't want to talk to anyone. So it's very difficult. So to me, to set these boundaries is try to learn saying no. Even though maybe, let's say, the director, the staff, they're all your friends, and sometimes you reach to a point you can't do it, it's fine, and you'll be like, you know what, why am I pushing it very hard? And then you fall into the wrong steps again, you know? So to me, I would say learn to say maybe no for the ones who are like me, saying yes all the time.
Yes, definitely. But I will take this advice, because I am this kind of person where I find it very, very difficult to actually say no. I would think of like what might happen if I did not be here, or what kind of problems I might cause to the, to the
staff and crew.
So this is actually a very, very good point. So what I would do is just pressure myself, and I would say, as I said, to reward myself afterwards. But I really find it very difficult to say no, actually.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I don't like saying no, but then I found myself that when I say yes, I get super pressured. And then even if I don't like it, I'm like, it's okay, I can do it because they're good people and I need to give back to the society. But then I get irritated quick. I get annoyed quick. And
because you're really under pressure, you know? This is a very, this is what we're trying to emphasize on, is don't let yourself reach towards that point. Don't let people see that dark side of you. You know, the one that you don't want to do.
I swear, people are seeing it already. And let me tell you, I'm getting complaints. And I'm like, I am so sorry, because I get super embarrassed to say no. But then, the effect, the consequence is people getting hurt. Things are happening. People are like calling me, girl, what are you doing in your life? What are you, like, who did you fight with?
I mean, they'll immediately know that you're under pressure. Like, there's something going wrong in your life. And that's why they start to interfere, like, what's happening?
Yeah, it's so true. And right here where I'm like, life is forcing me to say no now. And sometimes I do come up with excuses. Like for me, if I don't know if maybe it's confrontation, because I do tend to confront people if I'm angry. But if I'm not angry, I just don't want to confront you. Or maybe I'm scared. And I'm not, the thing is, I'm not like even like a scared cat. Like I don't get afraid from you confronting me. But I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear them like getting disappointed or anything. So now I'm like, I come with an excuse. I'm like, I can't come here because someone is going through it. So I just stick it to someone else, and I'm like, okay, I can't. You know what I mean? I always find an excuse, but now I'm teaching myself to be an adult about it and say the truth is, I don't want to be in this, or I don't want to do that.
That's very good.
But it's tough.
Right. It's very tough,
I'm telling you, adulting is crazy.
To me, I feel it's always easy to say no to your parents. Like if it's a gathering that your mom wants you to go to and you don't want to go, you'll just tell her, no, I'm not going. And maybe you'll end up not going really, you know, if you're not feeling, let's say, bad, like I mean, most of the occasions be like, we don't want to go, we don't want to attend, and that's it. But when it comes into work, it's very difficult to say no. You know, like I feel
How?
Is it because
I feel like it's the opposite. I can't say no to
No.
my parents, but work, I'm like, I don't want it.
No, it's like
No,
I don't.
yeah.
Is it because of the environment? Like because I'm used to my parents, and if I
Yes.
say no, I know that they're not gonna be offended, or they're knowing that I can't do this and so. But when it comes into work and colleagues and this kind of environment,
Yeah.
saying no, let's say most of the time, like no, I can't do this. No, you don't want to be that no person, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I
Definitely.
don't know. I love saying no. Really, like for my parents, I cannot say no because I know I'm not spending enough time.
Yeah.
And I know they have a certain expectation. Like if you're not going to the family gathering, people want to see you. People ask
Yeah.
about you. They have an expectation of me being there.
Of being there,
So
yeah.
that's why I'm like, I can compromise on it. I can come at that specific timing, but I'll be there. But work, that's not gonna add up to my evaluation.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that one. I'll say no. I'm resting. Thank you very much. As long as it's not in my evaluation, it's fine.
Yeah, I would say no, to my parents and not feel bad. And nowadays, I use sometimes, the kids as an excuse, being tired or stuff like that. But yes, and wherever I'm in a workplace or, sometimes being like a business owner and having to go ahead and meet people, and sometimes you really cannot say no because
Right.
you decided to go ahead and pursue this type of business
Yeah.
or work. So you like no is not an option. It's not even an option. Sometimes
Yeah.
it can be an option in work. But we're human beings at the end of the day, so you do feel tired some days. You do feel that you're not in the mood some days. You're not always 100%. So for the business part, it's very difficult, actually impossible to say no.
And just to clarify, we say no to our parents just for the not important occasions.
Yes.
It's not for everyone and everyone. But yeah, for only these, let's say, the faraway occasions, like
Yeah.
these are simply to say no, but the rest is like, we're obliged to do it. So, I mean, we've been talking about that a lot. Let's have a quick break and then we'll be back. So going back to talk more about time management and spending it all together, especially when it comes into your family, your work, having that kind of balance is very important. But yet again, we have to sometimes justify that we're really busy, like especially if someone is not in your position, in your own, let's say, place, they will never understand what's going on until you really prove to them or show to them. Like talking more about family side. So have you been associated in such matter?
Yes, sometimes especially from family occasions and stuff like that, there are some occasions that I have to be there, or sometimes I missed so many occasions and it's been too much, so I have to be there. And I can explain to any family member that, let's say why I couldn't be there because I have something else to do or something more important. And then this goes back to when you said having a good support system. So they would be understandable, they would understand where you're coming from, or they would excuse you. Sometimes this doesn't happen with other people, outside of the family, but family members tend to, understand, because I would say if you repeat your excuse, or just because you're going through something, or you're in a phase, and you tell this to your workplace, they might excuse you for a day or two, but not the whole time. Other than that, on the other hand, while family members can be understandable sometimes and excuse you for whatever you've been through.
Yeah, regarding it, like for me, it's the same point. I think family, they do have an expectation, and it matters to me. But at the same time, at the beginning, especially of me working here, my family didn't really understand because it was it's abnormal.
Yeah,
The workplace, it wasn't traditional, so it's completely different. So they needed to have time for them to understand and grasp what's going on. My brothers are very understanding because they do night shifts, they do morning shifts, and they don't have a fixed schedule, so they understand how my life works. But in the beginning, they're like, I don't think you're doing enough work because you come back home and I'm like, girl, I'm exhausted. Like I really don't want to talk. In the beginning, they're like, no, you do have time, you do this, but then I actually don't. And if I do have a free time, I want to rest. But regarding the other person, regarding work, sometimes even work, I have a phenomenal boss. I have a phenomenal boss, but like, and he's very understanding. He understands if I'm working or not. But usually, if I'm working, I'll sleep in the morning, so I will not show up at work. But he understands. So the easiest thing for me is to let him know, inform him that I won't be able to work this time in the morning because I'm working at night. So there is a set of a balance regarding of what to do, what to say. Expectations are there, they will never disappear, but what you can do is always talk about it. In the beginning it's hard, but later on they would understand. Yeah, communication is key in everything, but it's not even how, like, it's not even that you communicate, it's how you communicate it. So I could be angry at my parents telling me, why are you here? I'm like, I'm just saying. But it's more of, I am tired. I just need time for me to rest, and I'll give you the rest of the time. So it's just how also you communicate it.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the things that I face, especially when it comes into my day job. Sometimes I go, if I know that I'm having a heavy, let's say, episodes or schedule after my day job, I would rest my face by not putting makeup and just going with natural looks. So everyone would be like, are you okay?
The worst one.
Like
Disrespectful.
there's something wrong, and I'm like, no, I'm just everything is fine. Like they like don't understand us wrong, but we see you without makeup. There's nothing wrong with you, but we felt like something went wrong because we're not used to seeing you without, for instance, makeup. And I was like laughing. I'm like, no, I'm just resting my face. Just wait until I, let's say, reach towards the end of the day, because sometimes my day job ends at 1:40 and I have a shooting at 3. So the best time to put makeup is, let's say, at 2 p.m. or before it, within, let's say, 1:30 and so. So it's just putting some kind of, let's say, normal things that is really fast, and then continuing on it when it comes into arriving to the studio. So they'll be seeing my face in the morning, and then they see me at the end of the day, and like, okay,
that makes sense.
This is Hiba, the one that we know, and we're laughing about it, you know. So this is one of the things that I actually face. And aside to that, I remember I used to bring my daughter with me to work, because she used to tell me like, Mom, why don't you take me to work? I want to see what you're doing. And I'll be like, you're not going to like it. It has to be in a quiet environment since we're recording. There are going to be lots of people, and so on. So I remember I took her once. She was less than 3 years old, and I remember that she sat in the studio and she was very polite. But I remember one of the staff members did actually approach her by telling her just to reduce the voice of the iPad, and she was just crying quietly, and she just, let's say, I was like looking at her on the side, and I was asking the guest, and when I saw my daughter is going to enter the studio, I was like, I finished the question. The guest was quiet. We all knew that this is gonna happen, and then I turned. She was like, I want to be next to you, and she was like crying. And the thing that happened is that we kept her under the camera that was really close to me. Like, she was really close to me, shooting and filming the episode, and no one would ever know that my daughter was actually behind the camera, not even behind it. She was under the camera. Oh my God, it was very.
But that's so lovely though that you guys managed the situation.
Yeah, but like when we're talking, let's say talking about justifying, I mean, even to your kids, sometimes you really need to show it to them, what you do and how you do it, and then they're going to get used to it. Like sometimes we do outdoor, let's say shooting. She'd be like, are we going to the playground work that you actually go to? It's like, okay, it's so good that she sees it that way. And then you see her again talking like, is that the studio? I promise I'll be quiet. I'm not going to do anything. So yeah, I mean, you have to clarify sometimes your job, not only for your family or friends, but even for your kids. Let's say talking more of that kind of side.
Definitely, Hiba. That's very interesting. And I would like to say that we're proud of you, by doing that and having, your kids also, because you want to also show them, and they deserve to know, as you mentioned. So I know, girls, this is a very interesting talk, but let's just end it there because I'm getting really tired.